Hello everyone, welcome back to Rare Japanese Sounds, and because it's been a month since last time we did it, let's see together what did I buy in June of 2020. Basically, in the month of May, I bought mostly CDs from the single person who was unloading their collection of rare Japanese ambient new age CDs, so I just bought what I could find from their collection. But this month, I tried to focus on mostly records, and more precisely famous records, so you will probably know every single one of the things I'm about to show you, but I think it's going to be a fun exercise to see how much you can expect to pay for certain releases, in what condition. So let's see together, and starting first with Surround. So this one I bought at the very beginning of June, and it cost me about 60,000 yen, so around $600. And honestly, it's the price you need to be expecting to pay for Surround. Well, the Yoshimura's albums have been getting expensive for a while now. Since at least 2017, they've been at their current price. But you must remember that in something like 2011, they weren't worth even a tenth of their current price. So there has been such a massive increase in price that you might want to expect to see some supply getting into the market as time goes on. But with about 5 years of very high prices, we can expect most of the copies in personal collection of people unloading their collections for whatever reason, those to already be in the market. And now we might see very little coming into the market. That's what I'm expecting now that the records have been known for a while to be expensive. But this remains to be seen, and in any case, I stay very bullish on these kind of records. What's really at the top level of both popularity and rarity and price, this has really the good combination for something you want to park your money in, especially above $500. That's why I say go ahead if you can find it for this price. Maybe it will be the last time it gets sold for this price. I can't remember the last time it went for auction. Next up, I also picked up a copy of Erin Resort. This one, remember, much easier to find than the other records by Yoshimura. The only difficult part about it is trying to find it with a green plastic bag, but still not very rare. I would say at least several times a month you can find it on auction with a green plastic bag. A few things to keep in mind. Without a plastic bag, please don't pay more than 2,000 or 2,500 yen for it, at least not on the Japanese website. Second thing, this is about the sleeve, which is transparent, but it does get yellow pretty easily, so don't expect to find one that is in great shape very easily. It also seems to split very easily on the sides because of probably the cheap nature of the sleeve. So in other words, it's very difficult to find an amazing copy. This one I actually got for less than half the market price because everything included, I think I paid 3,600 yen, but that was because it was a buying now record that I saw right at the moment it got listed, so I just sniped it. That's very simple. Sometimes it's just about that, and not particularly on Yahoo auctions, but if you look at Mercari from time to time, you see deals that would blow your mind. For instance, only this month I found a copy of the American CD of Green, again by Hiroshi Yoshimura. So the CD, which is going for easily $200, well, on Mercari it was for 300 yen, so not even $3. That's including shipping and taxes. So that's pretty insane to see people not at all knowing what their CDs are worth. Same thing, I saw a CD of Surround not even 1 week ago that went for 900 yen, which is less than a tenth of the current market price. But anyway, talking about it just breaks my heart. You have to be exactly on the website at the moment it goes for sale, and by Mercari I mean the Japanese Mercari, not the American one. Don't get your hopes up too much. Anyway, moving on with again ambient new age releases, we've got Nova, which we covered in last week's video about the Misawa Home label. And again, I'm not going to say too much more about it. I paid around 12,000 yen for it, but because it's a very beautiful copy, I don't see anything wrong with it, whether it be the record or the sleeve. You have the obi in great shape, but this one is not that rare, and the interest in it seems to have died down a little, I would say. It's not very hard to find a copy, and the only limiting factor is how good a condition you can find it for. So that's why don't be in too much of a rush to buy this one. I would definitely recommend Surround on the other hand, much more rare and many more people interested in it, especially after the pandemic and again a new surge in popularity for Yoshimura, so be very careful about those. Anyway, moving on to more pop oriented release, we've got the original Sunshower, which I actually got for an extremely good price. I think this is the promo copy that I showed in the video 2 weeks ago about promo discs, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago, I can't remember. But again, this is the original pressing, no obi of course, but I don't mind that much not getting an obi. I generally tend to remove 15% from the price in my mental calculation for how much I should pay for a record. So if there's no obi, generally 15% off, no insert, again 15% off. But this one had neither, I think. It only had a promotional postcard in it, so no insert, no obi, but I only paid 7,200 yen, everything included, so that's an extremely good price for a record that's been unplayed. It looks completely mint to me. So if you take that into account, really, do you value the obi and the insert that much? Some people just want the best condition possible for the album. They don't care about spending twice as much, as long as they can get the perfect copy for their collection. Personally, I like getting a copy at a deal compared to what it should be worth at that condition, and I think this one checked all the right boxes. I didn't have it yet in my collection, so that was a good opportunity. Same thing with Summer Breeze by Piper. This one I got for maybe 8,500 yen or something around those lines. Again, no insert, but the insert and the obi are only the same piece of cardboard for the case of the Piper album. So it's not as big of a deal as a missing obi. And well, you can see a lot of browning on the sleeve, especially at the back. So you do have to take that into account when buying it. But again, the record looks really mint to me, so that's what counts. That's what should matter the most, at least. And yeah, I didn't want to pay all that much for a copy, and maybe if I really want to have a better copy, I will, buy a new one and sell this one, but that remains to be seen. Again, Piper, we're at a pretty nice time in terms of popularity, because their albums have just been reissued by Light in the Attic and Ship to Shore. So you are both able to get the new reissues on CD, vinyl, cassettes, but you can also have a look at the old one. They are only like 3 or 4 times the price of the reissues, especially, Sunshine Kids and Gentle Breeze. Those are half the price as Summer Breeze. So maybe you can, grab a copy while they're still obtainable for not too much of a price. But this is not that rare of a record. You can see it popping up about once a month. It depends. It really depends on how sensitive you are with condition, because I see that Piper albums tend to get stains extremely easily because of the material of the cover. Anyway, last record I got for this month was Awakening by Hiroshi Sato. Honestly, to me, my favorite album of his. If Orient is not your favorite album, it's probably this one. Again, no obi, because I like getting things on a discount. It does have the insert. The sleeve is in good condition generally. You have a slight bit of ring wear, but not too much. You get slight bit of browning. So for that, you would definitely expect to pay something like 15,000 yen, right? $150. No, I only got it for maybe 8,800 yen. So almost half of what it should cost for something in that condition. Yeah, honestly, I see a disparity between very good copies like this one and, the best of the best. There should be a retracement at some point for either the great copies or copies like that, but I would pay 8,800 yen all day for this album. It's been at that price for 5 years at least, and I think the market is pretty much at a stable point. You're not going to see many more of those copies pop up anytime soon. So yeah, get them while you can, because one quick word I would like to give you is that these days the collectible market is extremely unstable. If you've been following other collectibles, and I think as a collector of anything, it's very important to stay, on top of what's happening. And if you're looking at things like, Pokemon cards or Magic cards, even some kinds of, even the video game industry, collectible video games, you're seeing price increase by huge amounts in very short periods of time. And while I'm not completely sure about the causes for such an increase in price, because we're at the middle of a global pandemic, a lot of uncertainty in the stock market, in the economy, but people, for some reason, want to get their hands on some of those collectibles. But for vinyl records, at least the Japanese ones, I'm seeing nothing yet, not even a small increase. Maybe in Japan, some consolidation on some records, especially, Tatsuro Yamashita records. That remains to be seen. It's very hard to give a clear cut as to what the trend is, because you're looking at a market that is not very liquid. But I say definitely pay attention to how price reacts to the global, the macroeconomic situation. On a side note, I also got a couple of cassette tapes. I generally don't collect them very much, but sometimes, for instance, in this case, it's a cassette tape from the Shizen label, which we talked about in last month's video. Those cassettes are extremely rare to find. You only see them pop up maybe once a year for any cassettes. It's not like one cassette of each album once a year. It's just one cassette of the whole label once per year. This album is not the rarest one of the Shizen label. It's pretty much one that is not very collected, but I do collect them. I only paid the equivalent of $7 or $8 for it. So it's such a great deal. It shouldn't be that cheap to get something like that, at least not something this rare. And the other thing I wanted to show you is, well, you saw the LP, but now you can see the cassette of Gentle Breeze, if my camera can focus on the image. So I just saw the auction for both the cassettes of Gentle Breeze and Summer Breeze pop up, so I thought, yeah, it looked like a cool opportunity to catch one of those cassette tapes of popular city pop albums, or I think a great investment if they are cheap enough. I think the one for Summer Breeze only went for maybe on the range of $40 to $50, which is pretty cheap, but I decided to pass on the opportunity and instead get the one for Gentle Breeze for something around 22 or 2300 yen. So you can see that there are a lot of opportunities for great deals just lying around, and you need to have the eye for how can you trust a seller to have a record that is in good condition, because sometimes that's the deciding factor on whether you're going to bid or not. And if you manage to understand that the record is actually probably in mint condition, but people on the other side, other people looking at the auction are a bit more fearful, well, that's a good opportunity to grab the record for a lower price. But you still have that small uncertainty about what's the condition of my record gonna be. On the other hand, when you buy from a big store, you're pretty much certain that you're gonna get the condition that is mentioned for the record. Well, that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed, just looking together at some famous albums and discussing prices. Let me know if there is anything you'd like to talk in particular about. I think for this month of July, I'm probably going to spend most of my money on big ticket items like this month, where I mostly spent on surround, but we'll see what pops up. I have a few deals coming up and I hope that they will come through. In any case, this was Rare Japanese Sounds. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, until next time, stay tuned.